Hello Ride-On people. I'm probably going to have to shoot this video in one or two, possibly even three parts, so bear with me if you're watching another part and the intro is the same because I've been a bit lazy and reused it. But we're back from Barber Motor Museum in Leeds, Alabama. It's the largest motorcycle museum in the world. They have about 1,500 bikes on display at any one time from over 200 manufacturers, and it's officially the largest display in the world according to the Guinness Book of Records, and they have something like 250,000 square feet of floor space to present the vehicles on, and it's spread out over 5 floors, so you definitely need half a day there minimum, and if you're a connoisseur, probably more like the whole day if you can get there to visit. But I'll stop my rambling and let you have a look at the bikes. This is only maybe 1/10 of the bikes that's currently on display, but it really is jaw-dropping, so hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.
1954 AJS E95, made in Great Britain, parallel twin 4-stroke, 50 horsepower, double overhead cams, 340 pounds and around 145 mph from its 499cc displacement. The AJS suspended above this one was the last E95 to be raced. In the early 1960s, this old race bike was propped up against a shed at the AJS factory. Local dealer and race enthusiast Tom Arter asked if he could have the bike on loan, and unbeknown by the factory, prepared it for racing again. Longer forks and shocks were installed to gain ground clearance, as the modern tyres at the time allowed more lean angle. He got Canadian Mike Duff to ride the bike, and while it was fast, they had reliability problems, so it was finally retired, replaced by the single-cylinder G50 model. This little scooter is a 1954 Indian Papoose, an air-cooled single-cylinder 2-stroke. It only weighed 90 pounds, but it only had a top speed of around 25 miles an hour from its 98cc displacement and 3 horsepower engine. This British-built mini bike is a Corgi, rebadged as an Indian Papoose in the US. This small fold-up motorcycle was developed from the World War II military well bike that was made to fit in a container and drop by parachute. After landing, the parachutist would rush over to the nearest parachute scooter, hide the parachute, unfold the bars, pull up the seat, start the bike and ride off, hoping the noise did not alert the enemy. 1956 MV Augusta, made in Italy, transverse 4-cylinder 4-stroke, air-cooled, 56 horsepower, 496cc, 308 pounds, 145 mph. This particular machine, I believe, was raced by the late great Sir John Surtees. This is not a Harley Davidson Duo Glide as it first appears. It is actually a 1958 Rikuwa RT2, made in Japan, an air-cooled V-twin 4-stroke, 22 horsepower, single carburetor, telescopic forks, 546 pounds, 60 mph. In 1929, at the height of the Great Depression, Harley Davidson sold the manufacturing rights and tooling of their big twins to Rikuwa, spelled R-I-K-U-O, in Japan to raise much needed cash. Whilst the motor is basically the same as the 1930 Harley RL model, the chassis was updated in later years. 18,000 military versions were built for the Japanese Army during World War II. These motorcycles are extremely rare, with possibly only one other in the USA. In 1950, parent company Sanko sold Rikuwa to Showa, who are owned by Honda nowadays. The same company that supplies parts to Harley Davidson today, in actual fact, in terms of their very latest Milwaukee 8 suspension. Roughly translated, Rikuwa means king of the road, another simile there in terms of the road king with Harley Davidson. 1959 CZ Sribd, Czechoslovakian air-cooled single-cylinder 2-stroke, 172cc, 296 pounds, 50 mph. While we look at scooters as strictly utility vehicles, in Europe they are regarded in a different way. Owning a fully equipped luxury model such as this would have been a status symbol, and a trailer would have enabled a couple to go on vacation with camping equipment. The CZs were better known in the USA for their motocross machines, but they also produced small rugged commuter bikes in large numbers. 1959 Matchless G50, air-cooled single-cylinder 4-stroke, 48 horsepower, 290 pounds, around 135 mph. The Matchless G50 was a hand-built race bike only available to a few promising riders that could produce results and therefore publicly produce publicity for the factory. This machine is totally original, one of approximately 200 built over a 4-year period. The number of replicas that are currently available now exceeds that figure, so original machines such as this one are really quite rare. 1960 Norton Dominator Model 99, 34 horsepower, 596cc, 395 pounds and 105 mph. To make their products more attractive to younger buyers and overseas markets, Norton supplemented their traditional silver and black colour schemes with some daring, well at least with the 60s, variations. This 99 is finished in post office red and dove grey with optional chrome fenders. 2 carburetors as on this machine were an option. Also 9:1 high compression pistons were available for added performance. The 600 is regarded to be the best combination of power and smoothness of the Norton twins. This particular model is a Norvin. It's the marriage of a Norton featherbed chassis with a Vincent engine. Very popular in terms of original cafe racers. Also from 1960 era, the Vincent Black Lightning. This was an air-cooled 50-degree V-twin 4-stroke, around 70 horsepower, 2 ml Grand Prix carbs, around 380 pounds, and its 70 horsepower was enough to push it up to reputedly speeds of around 150. The Black Lightning was a specially tuned version of the Black Shadow street bike. Stripped of any components not required, it was some 100 pounds lighter than the Shadow, with a race-prepared motor producing 70 horsepower, a good 25 horsepower more than the Shadow. The Black Lightning was the world's fastest motorcycle, the first to break the 150 mile barrier reputedly. Made in very small numbers, and there's apparently less than 40 available now. It is a very rare machine, and this example is a very accurate replica. A particularly pretty bike in my personal opinion, this 1961 Perilla Wildcat Scrambler, made in Italy, an air-cooled single-cylinder 4-stroke with a magneto ignition, 26 horsepower, 247cc, an overhead single cam operates short push rods and rocker arms, has a single Delauto carb, 4-speed box, telescopic forks, 230 pounds in weight. This Wildcat was built for scrambles or TT racing that was so popular in the US before motocross arrived from Europe. The unique high cam motor would safely rev to 10,000 revs. This is back in 1961, giving impressive speeds for a 250cc machine. Suspension was by Siriani, who were the best available at that point in time. This is a nice example of a 1962 BMW R28. It's become an iconic classic design in terms of silhouette, and these machines fetch very good money nowadays. 1962 Norton Manx, an air-cooled single-cylinder 4-stroke, 325 pounds and around 116 miles per hour. This is the final version of the legendary Manx production racer, identifiable by the double-sided front brake. In production since the mid-1930s, possibly the most successful and popular race bike of all time, with literally hundreds of wins to its credit. This is a very pretty BSA Gold Star, probably from about the 1963 era. I believe that every Gold Star sold was guaranteed to be able to hit 100 miles per hour, or your money back guarantee sort of thing. Very nice example. 1964 MV Augusta 500cc Grand Prix bike, 65 horsepower, 308 pounds, 145 miles per hour. The factory MV Augusta machines ruled the World Championship circuits in the 50s, 60s and early 70s. John Hartle, Gary Hocking and later Giacomo Agostini raced these bikes in the 60s, carrying on the dominance of the Grand Prix racing that MV had been known for since 1956. They actually had very little opposition, as they had a 20 horsepower advantage over the British single-cylinder machines. 1968 Dresden Triton, 49 horsepower, 649cc, 380 pounds, 125 mile per hour. Triton is a popular marriage of a Triumph power unit housed in a Norton featherbed frame. The theory being that by using the best motor in the best chassis, you create the ultimate calf racer. Dresden Tritons were built by Dave Deakins in London, England. Dave, with his co-rider British-style Rex Butcher, rode one of his Tritons to victory in the Barcelona 24-hour race, defeating all of the factory teams. 1968 Egley Vincent, produced in Britain and Switzerland, 998cc, 440 pounds, 125 mile per hour estimated, and around 55 horsepower. Swiss engineer Fritz Egley manufactured approximately 100 frame kits from 1967 to 1972 to modernise the Vincent V2 motorcycles. The design features a large diameter top frame tube that also doubles as an oil reservoir. No two Egleys are alike. The suspension, brakes and bodyworks were the choice of the builder. This version was constructed in the museum restoration shop to reflect the spirit of the 1960s cafe racer cult. 1968 matchless G50 Matisse, an air-cooled single-cylinder 4-stroke, 48 horsepower, a Petit 5-speed belt-driven primary, approximately 300 pounds and around 135 mile per hour. Popular frame kit designed for the matchless G50 components, built by Don and Derek Rickman of motocross fame. Matisse kits were renowned for their high-quality finish and materials. Rear chain adjustment is made at swing arm pivot using eccentric washers, making for a very rigid rear axle design. Matisse is French for a mongrel dog, as the machines use components from various manufacturers. Triumph TR6R, air-cooled vertical twin 4-stroke, 40 horsepower, 649cc, overhead push rod activation, a mild carb, 420 pounds, 100 mile per hour. Often overshadowed by the Bonneville, the TR6 is regarded by many to be the better motorcycle. The single-cylinder motor is noted for its smooth running and low maintenance. Suitably equipped TR6 base machines were used by many law enforcement agents around the world. It was also known as the Desert Sled, a term utilised by the Ducati Scrambler model that's come out this year, and it was also a favourite of Steve McQueen. In fact, I believe the TR6R was the model he used in the movie The Great Escape, immortalising the Triumph TR6R forever. 1971 Harley Davidson Dyna Super Glide. This was the model that Willie G designed, I believe, and really helped bring the company back from the brink of a harder financial era. This one's sprayed in the more traditional Evel Knievel style white with the red and blue. 1972 Harley Davidson XR 750 flat tracker. This is the real deal. This is the one that the store's replicas are based on, and again, with the current vogue for scrambler machines, is an iconic symbol to help drive customization of similar modern day era machines. 1972 Triumph X75 Hurricane. The triple cylinder Triumph was a beautiful machine with a stunning line to its tank. I'm not sure how many years it sold for, but they are a sound investment nowadays and very rare and desirable. 1973 BMW R90S. I believe this was the first sports motorcycle to don a fairing. When it gained its bikini fairing, it became the first kind of sports bike in the world, if you like, and the smoky orange spray job was always the most popular. This particular model had higher gearing than the standard boxers and produced the highest top speed. In fact, I believe it was the fastest machine of its era, and It inspired a generation, and in fact was a semi-inspiration for the whole BMW R9T range in terms of the concept model produced by Roland Sands. It's kind of based on that legendary R90S with the smoky spray job. Very nice example. 1974 MV Augusta 750S, obviously made in Italy, an air-cooled inline 4-cylinder 4-stroke, 69 horsepower, 560 pounds, around 125 mile per hour. The 750S was the third update of this model, with the styling getting closer to what enthusiasts really wanted, I guess. Finally, twin hydraulic front disc brakes appeared, clip-on handlebars and rear set footrests were added to this model, closer to the factory Grand Prix machines, at least in appearance. This is a very tight example of the Motor Marini 3.5. Very easy to spot in terms of that, kind of all enclosed front drum brake, and interestingly the gear change was always on the right hand side for the 3.5. Nice example. 1977 Harley Davidson XL CR 1000. I always think of the movie Black Rain with Michael Douglas when I see this bike. This is the bike that he rode in that movie, making it semi-iconic for me. Black and gold, that kind of JPS spray job, it always reaches out to me. And even though the aesthetics don't flow that well in terms of being viewed with modern eyes, when you view them with rose-tinted spectacles, this was quite a looker back in the day. 1978 Ducati 900 Super Sport. The black and gold always worked well for me on any motorcycle, still does really, and this machine was pretty popular at the time. I remember growing up as a kid seeing a guy riding past on one of these, and it sounded absolutely phenomenal. 1978 Honda CBX6. Every 6-cylinder machine is special, whether it's a Z1300, whether it's a modern K1600. There's just something about an inline 6, and Honda were at the top of their game when they produced the CBX in terms of engineering prowess and reliability, and this is a really nice tidy example of a bike that's very becoming very rare nowadays. Well, I hope you like this preview of the motorcycles available at the Barber Motor Museum. Remember, this is probably less than 10% of the motorcycles that are on display, and I would urge you with all my heart to go and visit the museum and support it, and the money that you pay an entry fee will be going to local and national charities, and you'll have a thoroughly amazing day out at the what is pretty much unequivocally and incontestably the best motorcycle museum on the planet.